Hey. I am your girl, Carmel Jean-François, out of the New York City area. I am CFIT Coaching. And what we do here is we work with women over 40. We work with you. We help inspire, motivate, guide so that we can clarify some of the confusion around fitness and nutrition. So I'm here with Dr. J. Now, I'm so excited to have Dr. J here with me. And I'm going to let her introduce herself so that I don't mess it up.
That's okay. I'm Dr. Jamecia. I am the Nurse Practitioner Extraordinaire, and I'm also your intermittent fasting and mindset coach. I also do some professor work online, and I'm a full-time nurse practitioner. So
I'm so excited. First of all, welcome to my home.
Thank you.
So pleased to have you here. And I figured everybody, I was going to take complete use of the opportunity and ask you some questions about your practice, about the intermittent fasting, about just about stuff. So first and foremost, I'm going to ask you about, you said nurse practitioner. Mm-hmm. What does that mean to my guests, to my listeners? What does that mean?
Okay, so a nurse practitioner is a primary care provider, and we really do everything that you would need done when you go to see a primary care provider. The only difference between us and a medical doctor is that we took the track of nursing. So in order to become a nurse practitioner, you have to already be an RN, and normally an RN has a bachelor's degree. Sometimes they have an associate's, and then to get a nurse practitioner, you have to have your master's degree, and you have to have some clinical hours associated with that. So the clinical hours that are associated with it are family medicine, geriatrics, women's health, and pediatrics.
Oh, wow, that's a lot.
Yes.
Ooh,
it is.
Okay, so now with that said, you said that you are intermittent fasting,
and a mindset coach.
And a mindset coach. Okay. Intermittent fasting.
Yes.
That's kind of like a buzzword right now. I feel like everybody's jumping in on that bandwagon, but not many people even understand what it means. Or some people are using it as a diet to lose weight, but it's so much more than that.
So much more.
Can you tell us a little bit about intermittent fasting?
Yes. Okay, so yes, intermittent fasting is used for dieting. Hands down. That's what people do. They love to use it for dieting. However, for it to work and for you to sustain it as a lifestyle, you really have to practice it for a long period of time. Diet, okay, fine. It's not really a diet at all.
Right.
Really, it's not a diet, but people look at it and use it for weight loss because it does eventually help you to lose weight. And it helps you keep the weight off if you continue with a pattern of eating. So intermittent fasting is pretty much a timed way of eating. It's normally the most popular one I would say out there is what people call 16 and 8, which means you're fasting for 16 hours and most of that time is sleeping.
Okay. And
then your feeding window is 8 hours worth of feeding time. So that's normally how people start out.
Does that mean I could eat for 8 hours?
You can eat
like
in an
all 8 hours?
You can eat in an 8 hour period. I don't recommend you eat the whole 8 hours, but when you're first starting out, you may need to because there's a cutoff time. And people are used to eating into the evening hours, which is not what I recommend. That doesn't mean you cannot do it that way. For women who are over the age of 40, it's not the best way because our circadian rhythms, they come into play as well. Okay. And so to do your first 16 and 8, you probably should start eating at about 10 o'clock in the morning and stop eating at 6 in the evening.
Okay. That's doable.
Yeah.
That's doable. Now, you said a word, circadian rhythm.
Yes.
To my listeners or my viewers who, circadian what?
Right. It's your body's clock. Your body's clock
okay.
That is synced with the sun and the moon.
Okay.
And so when your body should be sleeping, then you shouldn't be eating because your body is down regulated, your metabolism is down, and you're not burning as much. So when you start eating late at night, you're just putting pounds on.
You're just putting pounds on because we're not really
shouldn't be up.
We shouldn't be up at that time.
Yeah.
Oh, so it even has more to do with the fact that we're not being active. It's just that my body's clock is off and
Exactly.
I shouldn't be up right now. So if I shouldn't be up, I shouldn't be eating.
Yes, exactly.
I know people who eat all through the night.
Yes.
And they wake up, they're like, I'm hungry, so they end up in the kitchen.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's another thing too that people don't understand or haven't had a connection to, like, oh, I just ate last night, or I ate right before I went to bed. I wake up and I'm starving.
Yes. What is that about?
Well, because your body is working so hard to break down, your metabolism is revved up, and your body's working to break that food down. So when you wake up, all you want to do is eat because you're tired. It's like you ran a marathon through your sleep.
Wow, because sometimes I eat so late, I wake up and I'm like, Ravage, I'm like, you got nerve. Like,
Right.
really?
Right.
You're
Right.
really, like, I just fed you.
Right.
So that makes sense.
Yeah.
I never thought about it in terms of that. Okay, so we spoke about the circadian rhythm, we spoke about intermittent fasting and the 16-8.
Can I talk about some of the other benefits?
Yes, please do.
So, great benefit is weight loss, right? But what I found through my journey, I found that there are so many other benefits. Not just through my journey, but also through research. I found that I have better mental clarity. I have more energy. I am able to regulate my weight and keep my weight down. And I'm going through menopause. So when that's in play and you're losing estrogen, it's so much harder to lose weight. It's so much harder to keep the weight off. Mm-hmm. So intermittent fasting helps with that as well. Mm-hmm. If you fast a little bit longer than 16 hours, on the 17th hour, mm-hmm. our body goes into autophagy, okay, which means it starts to repair itself. And this is really fairly new research over the last 20 years or so.
So 17 hours is good.
17 hours is good.
Okay.
Because then your body begins to repair itself. So anytime that I'm getting ready to go into a stressful situation, a period where I think I may be getting sick or ill, mm-hmm. I fast. And I fast for longer periods because I give my body the opportunity to repair itself.
Oh my God, that is such an important piece of information.
It is.
It's something that not a lot of people even understand. Now, with regards to the body repairing itself and working, especially since you said before you feel yourself getting ill, that's what you'll do. Mm-hmm. I've heard that when people lose their appetite when they're sick, and people are like, oh, eat, you need the energy. I heard that's not necessarily what the body needs, because right now the body is in repair mode. It's in recovery mode. It's working so hard to get you well again that the last thing it wants is for all its resources to go into digestion. Is that right?
That's right.
Woo-hoo.
That's right.
That's so interesting how the body works, and that how we don't know, and we're not informed, and then we're not being told by our doctors. And a lot of times we have to go and research these things out for ourselves. And a lot of times we consider it an inconvenient truth, right? Because now that we know better, we're kind of under pressure to do better, and it's not always the case. So I appreciate you shedding that light. Do you have anything else for us as far as intermittent fasting is concerned?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
There's more than one way to do it, and one size does not fit all.
Okay.
Right? So if you try intermittent fasting and it fails, try it again. You don't have to do 16-8. Mm-hmm. You can start with something, a little bit less dramatic. And that's not even dramatic to me, but it may be dramatic to someone who's never not eaten breakfast.
Right.
So if you're starting out and you want to do intermittent fasting and you want to try it, first, figure out why you want to try it. Figure out what the reason is for, and figure out if you're prepared for all of the mental stamina that you're going to need in order to make it a lifestyle. Okay. And the reason I say that is because when you are not eating for certain periods, people notice. People start wondering, like, why aren't you eating? Or aren't you hungry? Or try this, or whatever. And they're concerned. And they want to know why. And so when you
or they're offended that you're not eating their food.
Or they're offended that you're not eating any food or their food for that matter, right?
It makes them feel a kind of way, and it's not about you, it's more about them.
And if you don't know why you're doing what you're doing and you're not committed to it, you will continue to sabotage yourself. Because I'm at Carmel's, and Carmel made this beautiful stew, and I'm done eating for the day. And she's like, wait, I slaved all day making this stew. Jamecia, why aren't you eating? So I break down, and I'm like, I'm just going to eat. I'll try this intermittent fasting thing again a later day.
Time. Yeah.
But if I know that I'm just like, hey, Carmel, I haven't been feeling well for the last couple of days, and I'm really trying to repair my body, I'm going to take that soup or that stew with me. And I'll eat it when I'm ready to eat.
Right.
I'll tell you how wonderful it was.
Right. So your why has to be strong enough and it has to make sense to you, because once you tell it to somebody else and you say it with that conviction, then they'll understand and they can't be upset. They can't take offense. I know that when I first started intermittent fasting and watching what I was eating, every time I was invited someplace, I let them know. I'm like, okay, listen, I want to say no simply because this is what I'm doing right now, but I really want to go. And one of my friends, a dear friend, she was like, Carmel, don't even worry, I'll hook you up. And she did hook me up. She was able to kind of like put room aside so that when I decided that this is my cutoff, it was done. And she cooked food for me to eat because I am a vegan. So I had both of those things. And because I spoke to her in advance, she was able to prepare herself for it, and her guests and her food and everything. And then she made me feel so welcome. So that's important. Another thing I want to say is back to people who are not used to it. When I first started intermittent fasting, I kept my regular workout schedule. And if you know me by now, you know that I work out a lot. And I remember the first couple of weeks, I was feeling so drained. I'm like, why am I feeling so drained? Carmel, you're not eating breakfast anymore. And that's what it did. But there's light at the end of the tunnel. Your body does grow accustomed to it. It starts to realize what it is that you're doing, and it accommodates you. So now I work out fasted. I ran this morning about 8 miles. I ran this morning fasted. But my body knows now, Jamecia.
Yeah.
My body knows now.
6. I can do, that's my max. I can do 6 fasted, but 8, y'all.
But I'm not going to suggest that to you.
No.
Work yourself into it. If they want to intermittent fast to start out for 10 hours, is that okay?
Yeah, that's
and then
absolutely
they work
okay.
Their way?
Yeah, that's absolutely okay. And I know this is CFIT coaching, and I know you guys are working out. I just want you to understand, when you first start intermittent fasting, it may be a good idea to only work out when you are eating, when you're in your feeding window, like when you had something to eat and then go work out. Because the benefits of fasting is not the same as working out. You don't have to work out to get benefits from it.
Got it. Got it.
Okay.
I appreciate that distinction. Yeah. So we're going to let you all go. Chew on that. And Dr. J, if they wanted to reach out to you for more information, because you are the intermittent fasting queen, where can they find you?
You can find me on www.doctor, that's spelled out, DOCTOR, Jamecia, JEMECIA.com.
I'm going to have it in the notes, so all you have to do is click, and you'll find Dr. J with no problem. I appreciate you being here, letting my listeners and viewers know a little bit more about you and intermittent fasting. Excited about that. Isn't she fantastic? Thank you all. See you next time.